2022 fifth-round pick out of Notre Dame, Kyren Williams is the perfect running back for Sean McVay's offense, and I'm about to tell you why. Before you get into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And now let's dive in. So Kyren Williams yesterday against the 49ers, from what we saw, was somebody that could be used in the passing game, in the run game, and as well in pass pro. What I saw from Kyren Williams all along at Notre Dame was somebody who was faster when he was on the field than he was going to test at the combine. Unfortunately for him, however, he didn't test very well in the 40-yard dash. And I do believe it allowed him to fall to the fifth round, as well as that shorter stature at that 5'9", 194-pound frame. But when you look at it, this is the league now. There are guys all over the place, like an Austin Eckler, that can make serious money at a position where he doesn't have to be a 6'1", 220 back like Todd Gurley or a Melvin Gordon or a Zeke Elliott. This is the way it's always been. Marshall Faulk was 5'10". It's not always. This is the position where people get really all up in their feels about how tall a certain running back is and how big he is. But we saw Brandon Jacobs at 240 pounds. Didn't mean he was always running at 240 pounds, running people over like how he would have appeared. The whole idea of looks like Tarzan plays like Jane doesn't actually fit here, because Kyren Williams isn't built like that. He's not a 240-pound running back. He's not like Zach Charbonnet, who a lot of you wanted the Rams to go after. No, he is actually built smaller, but he still is able to make guys miss in space. He's still able to break tackles, shake out of tackles, be slippery, and just ultimately he's got that wiggle that allows him to extend plays. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think, first off, I want to start with more of these videos moving forward. If you missed my previous video about the trio that I believe is going to be the best wide receiver trio in football for the Rams when Cooper Kupp comes back, you can check it out at the end of this video, or you can probably click on my channel and you'll find it as one of the first videos uploaded. But before we get into that, just let's be real here. Kyren Williams is the guy moving forward. He is the number one running back. There is a very good chance that this team could trade for Jonathan Taylor if he is not worth a first-round pick. If they could swing a deal, I wouldn't be surprised. I kind of think it's going to happen, but I don't think it should happen, and I'm going to explain exactly why, because I think Kyren Williams fits this offense perfectly. Look, he may not be the typical bell cow running back, but when you look at what he did, just going over 100 yards in his first start from scrimmage, he's got 4 touchdowns on the season in total, including a receiving touchdown, 3 rushing touchdowns. I think what's important to realize here is that the Rams have struck gold maybe in Kyren Williams, who they traded up to secure in the 5th round in 2022. Last year, we talked about it. He was the de facto RB1 when they went out there to Cincinnati. Ironically, they play them this week. But when they went out to Cincinnati and they went through that joint practice, Cam Akers was hurt and Darrell Henderson was hurt, and so Kyren Williams was the guy. Well, unfortunately, they made the mistake of putting Kyren Williams on the special teams unit the first game of the season against Buffalo. He gets his ankle rolled up on and ruins his season. He came back later on, but that was when Akers started getting all the carries and so forth. So now we fast forward to this. Cam Akers is the running back number 1 for the Rams moving forward. We saw little Ronnie Rivers rocking the new number 20 jersey, but we did not see any Royce Freeman, and we did not see any Cam Akers, and I don't believe we will. I think Cam Akers is done with the Rams, and to be honest with you, I think it's the best move for the Rams. I think it's why the Rams were in that game against the Niners. I think there's no more tells in the offense. When you have Kyren Williams out there, it's pretty obvious when Akers, week 1 against Seattle, 21 or 22 carries he had out of 28 snaps. And you look at Kyren Williams, and he's not running the ball as much as Cam Akers is, and he's in there for 53 snaps. So I love what I'm seeing by the Rams, by Sean McVay, the creativity in the play calling area, especially. I think it got better in this game against the 49ers. But the main reason that happened is because there were no more tells. You weren't telling the defense ahead of time. You weren't tipping plays off. You weren't showing the defense, okay, this guy, he gets the running back, the running back is in the backfield. When he is in the backfield, he gets the ball 90% of the time. We're going to have to sell out and stop the run, because we know it's very rare that he is going to go out and catch a pass. However, when you look at Kyren Williams in this game, he went for 14 carries, 52 yards, and added 6 receptions for 48. And this is just somebody that you're going to have to know where he is at all times. He can line up as a wide receiver in the slot. He can line up out of the backfield. He can come right up in pass pro, stick his face in the fan. No one on the Rams had a better pass protection grade, according to PFF, in this game than Kyren Williams. And that was a big reason why they drafted him, was because of pass pro. He is so good in pass protection. He was the best pass protection back by quite a bit in 2022. That didn't stop. Akers never got better in that area of his game. And unfortunately for him, as somebody that I do believe was a better pass catcher out of the backfield than given credit for, the Rams stopped using him. So when you're hearing all this stuff about Kyren Williams and the joint practices of the Broncos and the Raiders this offseason about how he is basically, taking deep down the field, he's taking those wheel routes for touchdowns from Matthew Stafford, and they've had a really good connection, and Kyren was getting, reps with the first team. You start to understand why, especially in this one. Finds the end zone twice yet again, so back-to-back games with 2 touchdowns. And I think moving forward, ironically, the Rams, who are, they might actually be the best red zone offense statistically. They're definitely in the top 3, but they might actually be the best. And the funny thing here is that this red zone offense is the best without Cooper Kupp. And in addition to that, there's no wide receiver that has caught a touchdown pass. Stafford has only thrown 1 pass, and it was a screen pass to Kyren Williams that went for a touchdown. So when you look at it, Kyren Williams has been getting all of the premium touches. So if you're looking at this video and you are a fantasy football player in any shape or form, and you're wondering if Kyren Williams is legit, yes, he is. He's 23 years old. He just turned 23 in August. He is the guy. The Rams love him. The Rams are going to roll with him, and the Rams feel like he fits their offense the best. The reason why he fits the offense the best, and the reason why against the 49ers defense, he was able to carve out 52 yards. Could say what you will about yards per carry at 3.6 on the year. I'm not really concerned about that. I think when you look at Kyren, he's played better than his yards per carry average would show. The run game hasn't quite gotten going in the offensive line blocking, so to speak, but he has made the most of what he's been given. And I think when you look at Kyren and the fact that he literally keeps everything open for the offense, it makes a defense start to guess a little bit. And when you're guessing, now you have that weakness that's out there. And so I think Kyren getting 52 yards against this 49ers defense was impressive. He's had 29 carries for 104 yards, and he's had 6 receptions for 50 yards in his career so far as a starter, if we want to call him a starter last week. He has 4 touchdowns, which, by the way, leads all running backs in scrimmage touchdowns. He's got 4. I don't see this stopping, folks. I don't see this stopping. I think a big reason of why he's starting to get the load and he's starting to actually get the playing time and he's starting to actually get touches and throws to him is because of the emergence and the addition of Mike LaFleur in the offensive room. They brought him in as the offensive coordinator. I made about 5 different videos breaking down what that could look like. I watched, obviously, covering the Jets last year. I watched him with Bam Knight. I watched him with Ty Johnson. I watched him with Michael Carter II. I watched him with Breece Hall and James Robinson. I could tell you this guy actually cares about the running back room. He is not going to let Sean McVay forget about the running back room. He is going to hold him accountable, and Sean McVay is already starting to see that, where he's given Kyren Williams 14 carries, probably wanted to give him more carries, to be honest with you. They were put in a bad spot with losing the lead late in the game, and I think it led to them having to go pass happy more than they ultimately wanted to. But when you look at Kyren, people are going to hold that dropped pass that ended up being a interception, and it was a momentum changer, to be fair. But you can't hold that entirely against him, because while he made a mistake there, he has been a big reason why this Rams offense has moved the ball consistently, has found the end zone. They're not kicking these short field goals. No, they have been very good in the red zone. They have been cashing in on touchdowns. And I think when you look at Kyren moving forward, not wearing that number 23, we saw Akers wear, he is going to be a problem for defenses. And we have seen him against 2 decent defenses. The 49ers, one of the best defenses in all of football, not easy to run the ball against. And then you look at the Seahawks game, and they sold out to stop the run. They got some good pieces in the interior. So when you look at it, eventually Kyren Williams is going to go up against a decent defense or even a bad defense that's not on the level of those two that I just mentioned. And that's where we're going to start to see some breakouts, some more momentum building, some good, looking forward to just seeing his development as it goes on, but also his confidence. I think this guy's incredibly confident and he's underrated, but I think we're going to start to see him really take off here. And it shouldn't be a surprise. When you watched him at Notre Dame, played at a big program, played in big games, was able to break through tackles. There's one play on film that I'll never forget. Alexis, my co-host of Downtown Rams, sent me. And by the way, she called him RB1 in that draft. I had him as, I think, RB3 or 4. I was very high on him. She was very, very high on him. So we've been kind of, pounding the stump for Kyren for a while now. I saw a James White type of situation coming out of this. I didn't expect him to actually let him go, but now that they're letting him go, this is great stuff to see. But going back to what I was saying about the Notre Dame game, I'll never forget when she sent me the first ever tape that I ever saw of Kyren. I saw a play where he got the ball and was literally carrying, he had about 8 guys on him and then ripped right through and scored a touchdown. The play against North Carolina where he goes down the sideline. I mean, I don't care what this guy ran 40 times. And I hope people look at Kyren Williams and look what these players are capable of, because at the end of the day, if you're a running back that runs a 4.2 40 at the combine, the Senior Bowl, whatever, you're really fast. It doesn't mean you're fast on the field. Kyren runs faster on the field. He has this alertness where he is ready to go. There's no hesitation. He just takes off like a heat-seeking missile. Is he super fast? Is he super, explosive? I wouldn't say he's the most explosive running back, and he doesn't have the long speed others in this league do, but he's fast enough in the NFL. Don't forget, while there are 4.4 running backs out there that change the game, there's also 4.5 running backs and 4.6 and 4.7 running backs that play better, play faster when the pads are on. Kyren's one of those guys. I don't care what he ran. I don't care what he tested. It should be a reminder. And we have a lot of guys like this, Cooper Kupp on the roster as well. We have a lot of guys throughout the NFL that have proven time and time again. Just like analytics, I always say use analytics as a tool, not as the full thing. Well, you should be using testing times and things like that at the combine and so forth as a tool and not as the end-all be-all. Kyren Williams fits this offense because what he can do, he can give them different looks in the passing game. He can come up, and if the offensive line isn't pass protecting well, he can come up and help in pass pro. He is a wall in pass pro. He's going to help out Stafford, but he also can help you in the run game, can run to the outside, he can run up the middle. He can make guys miss. He can break tackles. He can slip through tackles. He keeps his legs churning. This is somebody that's churning out all sorts of first downs, getting in the end zone. And so this is why I think moving forward, the Rams are going to stick with him. They might go out, and like I said, they might go out and get Jonathan Taylor. I think it's definitely a possibility. I don't think they need to. If they go out and get anyone, they should be looking at a running back that's not being used on a team right now that could offer a little bit more in the power running game. You talk about a Dante Foreman who was a healthy scratch last week for the Chicago Bears, or this past week. That would be a perfect fit. Ronald Jones was just cut by the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe you look at somebody like that. Leonard Fournette still available, maybe even a Darrell Henderson, just adding a little bit more so Kyren doesn't have to take on the full brunt of the workload. He's working harder than just about any back in the league right now because he essentially is the number one running back in a world where we are seeing running back by committee approach all over the place. So it'll be very fascinating to see what they do with Kyren moving forward. But can he handle the workload, and can he continue on this path? 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games. I believe he can. Look out for Kyren Williams, and if he's available by the graces of God in fantasy for you this week, go ahead and pick him up. Try to get him on your roster because I think he is a perfect fit for Sean McVay's rebuilt from the ground up offense, and I think he is going to be a huge matchup nightmare moving forward for defenses. So I'm Jake Ellenbogen. That's my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. If you want more content like this, be sure to subscribe. I'm putting it out constantly. I'm excited to go into the All-22 on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, exclusively on kick.com/JKBogan. We're going to break down his game as well as everyone else's game. So Rams 49ers All-22, and it's going to be on kick.com/JKBogan at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. I hope to see you there. Take care, folks. Later.